tigers are not concerned of the opinion of sheep.
Hello everyone and welcome to Dear Alyne. I am back with the third episode of How to Life. Today's guest is... Say your name.
John Lee.
John Lee. John Lee's episode is about how to money because John is good with money. This is why. Here's the proof. John has over houses. I only have 3. I thought I was cool, but I'm not. He has a listed company in the stock exchange, which means he really knows how money works because I don't even know how the stock exchange works. And he has written a book called The Wealth Dragon Way, which teaches people like me and you who don't understand money very well how to use it in a way that will make our life better. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. Okay, so John.
Yes.
You are very good with money.
I'd like to think so.
Have you always been good with money?
No, actually I haven't.
Okay.
But one of the things I started with is if you want to get something, you got to find someone who's already got it. Like success and wealth leaves clues. So you have to look at what's in the trend right now, what's working, what's not working. And I guess when I first started is like, what's the easiest thing that I can do? Because I'm not very clever. I didn't do well at school. So what's what's one thing that I can do that can get me to that goal? And so I started doing a lot of research, and what I found that if you want to make money, the people who had the money were were investors. They weren't spending money, they were investing it.
Okay, so you are 38.
Mm-hmm.
And how old were you when you had your first million?
It's 27.
27,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And how did you go from 0 to $1 million? Because you were raised in like a normal family, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they were Chinese immigrants.
Yep.
And you lived in London?
Manchester.
Manchester,
Yes.
Okay, which is different from London, everyone. And they had a Chinese restaurant, and you worked there.
Yes.
Was this like a super successful Chinese restaurant?
No, it wasn't. No, I mean, I've worked every weekend there. I actually didn't have a life.
Wow.
So I was just every weekend just working in the Chinese restaurant, washing dishes, and yeah, that's all I did.
At what age? Were you like a little kid? Were you like in high school?
No, and you know Asians, they start you off when you're really young.
Like very small.
But when I was 5, I kind of got into the whole, chopping mushrooms and peeling onions, and then I got upgraded to dishwasher.
That's crazy. Yeah. Okay, so how did you switch over like to doing anything with business? What was the first turning point as a child?
I didn't see my parents actually till the age of 11 years old. And to clarify, just to be clear, the 200 properties that we bought is not just myself, but I did that with partners.
Yeah.
And one of the things I realized is that if you want to earn more, you can't. It's really hard to do it yourself. You have to find people to work with. You have to go to people who already have that success. And so what I did is I found someone who was, he was a property millionaire, he was very wealthy.
How did you find him though? Because a lot of people watching this at home are like, in university, or they just graduated and they don't know people like that. They would never, like when I was in college, if you were like, go find a millionaire and partner with them, I'd be like, where are the millionaires? Like, where are these people? And if I find one, why would they want to talk to me?
Okay, good question. So there are lots of places you want to go that people hang out. So if I want to get into technology, I'll go to a technology conference. If I want to go to and find people who are successful, then I want to go to business conferences, and that's what I did. But there was also these property conferences as well, so I thought, well, look, if I want to find someone who's successful, then they're going to be hanging around in these property conferences. And sure enough, I had to attend a property conference, and I met one guy, his name was Ranjan, and he was talking about all these different concepts, like stuff I've never heard about before.
Yeah.
And so what I realized is that people who are very wealthy, they have knowledge that people who are not wealthy have. They know different things. They have specialized knowledge. So then my goal was to, okay, well, how can I get with these people? And to answer your question, why would they even work with you? You gotta, a lot of people, when they meet people, it's always like, take. What's in it for me, right?
Yes.
But it should be about what's in it for them. Like, you really want to help people and serve people. And so when I found a lot of these successful people, you're right, a lot of them said, why should I listen to you? Who the hell are you? And so I thought, okay, well, I'll come from a different angle of how can I help you? And I learned one thing, and that thing was, if you find a deal, the money will find you.
Yeah.
So what investors want is they want to earn more money. So I thought, well, if I just go out and find the deal, then they're giving me money for it.
Let me give you a real life example of this from my life. So a friend of mine is kind of similar to you. He's going to be a crazy gajillionaire one day, and he started Normal Family, and the way he does it is he finds a good deal. He doesn't necessarily have the money to pay for it, and then he reaches out to people, and his friends are not all super rich, so he can't find one friend with $300,000. So he goes to each friend and he goes, hey, do you want to invest $20,000 in this house? I'll give you back $22,000 in 1 year. So he came to me, he's like, hey, do you want to give me $20K? I'll put it in this house and you'll get $22K in a year. And I was like, this is my friend, I like him, you know, why not? So I do that. And now he has another house that he's gonna keep. He gets to keep the house in the long term, but I got to make some money just from him borrowing the money from me for 1 year. So that's a great example, and I just wanted to give you guys a little simplified version of how that would work in real life.
And Alyne, that's exactly how I did my first deal.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, this example is so true. My first deal that I did is I found a property. It was on the market for 170, 150, 160.
In the US?
No, this is in the UK.
England.
So it's around that range. All the houses around that 150, 170. But that deal got offered to me for 85,000.
Wow.
Right, so it's like almost half the price. And at first I thought there was something wrong with it. I said, why would someone give you a house that's half the price? But it turns out there's lots of reasons.
Yeah.
You know, personal reasons.
Yeah.
And so of course I thought, well, it's a great opportunity, but of course I didn't have £85,000. So I literally...
How old were you, sorry?
I think I was around 24, 25, around that age.
Okay.
24, 25.
So that means he succeeded quickly from age 24, 25 to 27.
Oh yeah, it was about a 3-year period how I made it.
Yeah.
So because when you find that something works, you just keep repeating the process. So I actually found somebody I must have spoken to at least 200-300 people.
Yeah.
Say, do you have 85,000? Do you have 85,000? And I was doing the wrong pitch. So I had to learn, if you want to pitch properly, I had to learn how to sell. So the way you pitch is you say, don't give me 85,000. I would say, I've got a house that's worth this much, but if you give me this, then I'll give you the return, just like you've described.
Yeah.
So I ended up finding an investor who gave me 85,000. I bought the house for £85,000 cash.
Wow.
That wasn't my money. It's a concept called OPM, using other people's money, just like you explained. And then I sold the property 2 months later.
2 months?
2 months later for 185,000. I made £100,000.
What did the investor get?
They got a good return, so they got 85,000 back plus a 1% return, and it wasn't for a year because I figured out a way to buy the property and then sell it really quick.
Oh.
Right, by using different marketing strategies.
Yeah.
So, and then I just kept repeating the process over and over and over again.
So what were those strategies? So why did you get an $180,000 house for 80, number one? And number two, why were you able to sell it so quickly?
Okay, so interesting, right? So first of all, there are lots of people that, shall we say, they get into a relationship,
Yeah.
they buy a house, and
Yeah.
things don't work out. So, you know, the divorce rate is extremely high. So
Yeah.
you imagine two people bought a property, they
Yeah.
hate each other now because one person's cheating on the other, whatever reason,
Yeah.
and now they just want to get out. They don't
Okay.
they don't care what they sell it for because emotions take over logic now.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons. Another reason could be someone has inherited a house. They become an accidental landlord. So they don't want anything to do with the house. They're
Yeah.
like, it's
They
this
just wanna get
house,
rid
so
of
they just
it.
want to get rid of it. House gets left to 3 kids. Kids
Yeah.
just want to get the money out quick.
And that happened to my mom.
Right. So
Yeah.
there's so many different reasons why. I mean, some people they overextend.
Okay.
Right, they get a job, but they get made redundant. Now they can't afford to pay the mortgage, and if you don't buy it, if they don't sell it quick, the bank's going to take the house, and they're going to lose everything. So
how do you find these people?
just by talking to people.
Just from networking,
Yeah.
just talking.
Talking
So it's
to people.
literally friends of friends. You're not.
I mean, there are a
online.
few other techniques.
Yeah.
You know,
but that's
the-
a good one. It's good to start with your.
Yeah, I
personal.
mean, like you just said, like, you know, people in your circle, you must know people who
Yeah.
are looking to sell a house. I mean, I'm sure if you ask around enough, like if you just make one post on social media to say, do you know anyone who's selling a house?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're gonna get 1 or 2 people. Or you put, do you know anyone selling a house? Share this post with them and send me a DM.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, social media's made it so easy now to connect
So
with people.
easy.
You know, so
And there's forums and things like this. There's podcasts to learn the basics. And when I got my first houses, the way that I did it is I'm not a property expert. Okay, I know the basics. I know, you should buy a duplex for your first house. So you live in half and then you rent the other half and your renters are paying your mortgage. I know that. I know these basic things, but I also didn't trust myself completely to go through the house process correctly. So I found someone like you 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, a local real estate guy, and I essentially got his advice. So find someone local in your area. Think who of my friends or my parents' friends bought a house? Who seems smart with money? And then you say to them, hey, who was your real estate guy or girl? Who was your real estate person? And then talk to them, because they will give you advice. They know the market better than you probably ever will, because that's their full-time job. Would you agree, or would you say?
Definitely. I mean, there's another way to become a homeowner. It's what we call rent to buy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't have the money to buy a house, but what people do is they rent in the property for a long time. So what you can do is you can go to if you're watching this and you're renting, you can go to your landlord and say, you know what, I'm going to rent the house for say 5 or 10 years, and then I'm going to buy it. The only condition is I'm going to buy it at today's price. So imagine right now a house worth 100. I'm going to rent it, but I have an option to buy it at today's price. So today's price is 100,000.
Yeah.
And we all know that over time, especially here in where we are in Singapore right now, it's crazy. So in 10 years time, it might be worth 200,000.
Yeah.
So now you have the option to buy it at 200,000.
Yeah.
Right? So that means if you rent for 10 years, it's 100,000. Now it's 200,000. You can sell the whole thing for 200,000. Pay off the 100,000. Now you got 100,000, and now you can use that money to buy another house.
So let's say somebody is renting to buy, because all of you probably pay rent unless you live with your families or something. So once you're a little older and you live alone, you're paying rent.
Yeah.
So how do you do the rent to buy? Do you have to get paperwork? Do you go to a bank? Do you just do paperwork with your? How do you make sure it works?
So let's do a live negotiation,
okay.
right? So I would come to you and I would ask your situation on, so you own this property, and I'm going to say, you know what, Alyne, I'm going to buy this from you.
Okay.
But not today, in 10 years time. So I'm going to rent it from you for 10 years. I'll take care of all the maintenance, because if you're a landlord, landlords hate maintenance. They hate if someone smashes the window.
When they break the fridge.
Correct. So I'll be responsible for all of that. And so you agree, I agree. And it goes onto just a piece of paper, right? So you write down
piece of paper.
Well,
you don't need a notary or something.
Well, so this is how it works. So we'd get a piece of paper, we draw a line down the middle. This is what you agree, this is what I agree.
Yeah.
It's what we call heads of terms. So this is what you agree to.
Heads of terms.
Right? So we get all of that, and then we just take that piece of paper, we go to a lawyer and say legalize it.
Yeah. Okay, so you do go to a lawyer.
Yeah, so they will legalize it. And then once the contract comes back, it's everything you agreed, what I agreed, we sign, done.
This is a really common question I got on Instagram when I asked all of you if you have any questions for him. If you're from a third world country, do you have advice on how to grow wealth? Because what you said can work in, I prefer to say developing country. They said third world country. But if you're from a developing country, even then it's kind of hard to find 10 friends with 10,000 each when people are earning 200 a month or 300 a month.
Right.
Do you have some thoughts for people like that, or not really?
I actually wrote a book called Business Hack, actually.
Oh.
And it should talk.
I didn't know it was about that. It's here, but I had no idea.
So here's the thing. I think we're living in a world now where everything's changing.
Yeah.
Everywhere right now has the internet.
Yeah.
So in fact, when I was speaking in Malaysia, I was giving them strategies. You don't want to have a local business, you want a global business.
Yeah.
So if I can make money in pounds and spend it in ringgits, that's like 1 to 5 times. So then how do you do that? Well, it's called the internet. so anyone right now can put a shop online. If you all have access to the internet, I'm sure you all use Facebook or Instagram. You can literally, there's lots of softwares out there where you click a button, it'll make a website, and then all you have to do is market your website and have things to sell.
Oh.
So everyone right now, if you got $200-300 and that's all you're making, then that's enough for you to create something where you can put something to sell. Now people say, well, John, what do I sell? I can't afford to put things on there to sell. So there is a strategy called commission-based marketing. So there are, where you are right now, I'm sure there's businesses. There will be businesses, there'll be companies, hotels, restaurants, you name it. And all you have to do is go to these businesses and then ask them what they need help with. So some of them might say, I need help with advertising, I need help with posting things on social media, I need help with Facebook. There are people out there who will pay $1,000 to $2,000 for you to just make posts for them on social media. That's it. right? So
and you don't have to be very good at it, because I'm in a lot of social media manager groups, and I see the people who are getting paid to manage other people's Facebook and Instagram, and they are not very advanced. They don't really know what they're doing. So a lot of people, a lot of companies don't know what they're doing on social media.
Right.
And so they'll hire someone who's a beginner. And I'm not saying you should market yourself if you're not qualified, but I'm saying you can learn quickly on the job. You know, when I worked for a company and I learned how to build websites quickly when I needed to build one. I didn't outsource it to someone else, you know? So you need to teach yourself these skills. You can't just expect someone to give you money. You can't just expect to be able to make money online with no effort. Like every job you're gonna do and every entrepreneurial effort, you need to be doing a lot. Like, I'm sure I get so many emails from people that want help and that want assistance. And like you said, you shouldn't be asking for help, you should be offering help.
Correct.
So if someone wanted to work for him, for example, they don't say, hi, John, can I have a job? Can I work for you? You're super rich. Can I have a job? You have extra money. Can you pay for my school tuition? No. You say, hey, John, like I've been studying X and Y in my home city, and I would love to, you know, help you grow your program here. The sentiment of the email is the same, but the outcome will be very different.
Oh, huge, and you're absolutely right. I mean, those emails that I get, it's just like you don't want to beg. You know, you want to add value. I mean, real value. So if all you did was just say, hey, you know what, I want to create some videos for, you know, your restaurant. Most people have a smartphone, and if you have a smartphone, you could borrow one. And the cameras now on, say, an iPhone 10 or any Samsung or any Android is HD. So you could go and shoot some videos and just press one button, upload it, and even if they pay you 10, 15, 50 bucks for that, if you do that 10 times, that's 500 bucks you can make in a day, right? You times that by, see, a lot of people, when they want to earn wealth, they don't reverse engineer, they don't work backwards. Right? So you got to have a goal. Right? The goal is, if you want to make $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or $1 million, just take your calculator like this, open your calculator, right? And you put in an amount. So let's say you want to earn $10,000. Right, so you put 10,000, and let's say you have a product that you can sell for $50. Divided by 50, you only need to sell 200 of them. And if you divide that by 4 weeks, divided by 4, you only have to sell 50. Right?
So you break it down into easy blocks.
Right, so 50 divided by 7, you only need to sell 7 a day.
Yeah.
So that's your focus. So your focus should be, how can I sell 7 a day at $50? I'm sure there's more than 7 restaurants where you're living right now, and I'm using restaurants as an example.
Yeah. But did you do business with restaurants, or are you just using that example?
No, I have I do a lot of consulting for businesses, CEO, but I'm just saying that anyone can do this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm flying to a company to show them how to implement, you know, the social presence and social footprint, because now if you're not on social, you're basically invisible. And for a business to become successful, you have to have visibility so people can know where to shop.
Yeah, yesterday there was a woman, and she advertised that she does personal clothing rebranding, style rebrand. I may need a style rebrand. So he does not need a style rebrand. So I went to her website. She has a website, but there are no pictures of anyone she has styled. And I was like, why would I trust a brand consultant, a style consultant who has 0 pictures of people whose style she has done? So many people like miss really basic steps in building their business, and then they wonder why it's not working. So make sure you're really thinking it through, and make sure you're watching podcasts like this or researching online the steps. It's all online. So are you self-taught? Did you end up going to business school?
No, I don't have any qualifications I did really bad at school. I'm a D student. I found it very hard I'm dyslexic, so I found it really hard to study at school. And one thing I realized is that you don't have to be intelligent to be rich.
It's so true.
Right? I mean, how many of you watching this right now, you know people who are a lot more intelligent than you, right? But
I think you are intelligent, just for context. But there's so many people, like Nas and I meet people, and we're like, how is this person so rich? They are not smarter than us, And so you can be really rich or successful. You don't need to be really smart or really well educated. You just need to have the right building blocks.
Well, I think it's a few things. One is you definitely need to find people, so you need mentors.
Yes.
So you got to find a mentor. You've got to be in the right network and support group, because one fact is that if you hang around the right people, it will determine where you're going to be in the future. So if you hang around people who are broke, you're going to be broke. So you got to change the circle. If you hang around people who are bad people, you're going to be a bad person. So you got to hang around people who are positive, who inspire you every day, rather than people that complain all the time.
How can we find mentors? How can these people find mentors? How did you find your mentors?
You can go to a lot of networking events, find a friend, find someone to look up to. A mentor is someone who has got what you want, and all you need to do is go up to them, find out how much value you can provide to them. Don't work to learn. Don't work to earn money. Work to learn. That's the key. That's the biggest secret. You want to get good at sales? Get a sales job. Work for free if you have to.
But what value can we provide? Can you give us examples of value?
There's only one question you have to ask. What are you currently working on right now that I can help you or support you on? And they'll tell you.
Oh, so we can ask. We don't have to know what it is.
You just ask the question. And even if you don't know how to help them, if you try and find somebody who can help them, they're going to appreciate that. As a connector. They're going to appreciate that. There's someone I know who can connect you with this. And that's just how I've done business all the way through. That's actually one of the reasons why I built Wealth Dragons app. If you're watching this, download the Wealth Dragons app. There's lots of mentors on there in different areas: health, wealth, spirituality, entrepreneurship, business. They're all there.
So there's mentors on the app?
Correct.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, I have a question for you. So you're not married, right?
I am married.
You are married.
Yes.
Okay. When you seem very wholesome.
What do you mean by wholesome?
You seem like a nice person.
Oh, thank you.
You seem like you're not trying to take advantage of people ever. Like you got your wealth not by cheating, but by doing things in a good way.
It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and that's why I like him, because a lot of rich people exist, and I don't interview them.
And by the way, just so you know, anyone who thinks that they can make money and get rich quick, any time you hear anything like that, just go away from it. Every successful people, I know a lot of billionaires, and I see how hard they work. And even till today, I have a listed company on the stock exchange, and I work like 15, 16-hour days. That's why I have eye bags.
Crazy.
You know?
Yeah, I have no excuse for my eye bags. So, okay, so you were self-taught. You're a wholesome person. A lot of people, when they make a lot of money and they came from nothing, they kind of go crazy.
Yes.
Did you have a go crazy period?
No, because I value money. Like when I say I value it, I know how hard it is to make.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like when you're born with a silver spoon. See, I always say that. So it's interesting actually.
Yeah.
I own a Ferrari and a Lamborghini.
Okay.
Right? Not because I have a full-time driver. I hardly drive the cars.
Yeah.
But the reason why I own these cars is because when you own a Lamborghini, you get invited to the Lamborghini party, and also a Christmas party, and you get invited to the Ferrari party, right?
Yeah.
And when I go to these two different parties, I notice two different types of people. The people who are Ferrari drivers tend to be like from the city, like bankers, investors. But when I go to the Lamborghini party, they're all self-made entrepreneurs.
That's
Right?
interesting.
Very interesting, right? And when you
Ferrari is
like bankers, like high-level management, CEOs,
people who work for other people, essentially.
right? But like get paid a lot of money.
And Lamborghini is self-made.
Entrepreneurs.
Okay, how come?
I have no
idea. Why are they attracted to those guys?
I don't know why. But coming back to the whole mindset thing is, I see that hanging around different people, you need to have a different mindset. Right? Now, of course, you go, well, John, it's okay for you, can you buy Lamborghini? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you need to find people in these circles to hang around, because it's information. The person with the best information wins. My friend, he said to me, John, you should always fly first class. I said, why? He said, because people in first class lounge talk about different things in business class lounge. And I learned about this whole floating a company thing. Like you will hear, have you heard of the guy, Lee
That's interesting, because sometimes we get offered first class and we always say no.
No, you should always
because we think it's a waste of money, and we're a couple, so we like to cuddle, and first class separates the seats. So we're like, oh, we want to sit together. So you think it's actually worth it. It's not like a waste. What about like...
Well, no. So here's the thing. So I heard a story of Lee Ka-shing, who's one of the richest men in Asia.
Okay.
His driver retired, and when he retired, he gave him a check, and his driver said, "I don't need the check." He said, "What do you mean? You've been of great service." He said, "You don't understand, Mr. Lee. I'm already a multimillionaire. He said, what do you mean you're already a multimillionaire?
Yeah.
He said, well, do you know all the years I've been driving you around? And you've been in the back in the car with the phone, and you've been asking people to invest in that stock and that real estate and that property. Well, I overheard what you were saying. I took your advice, and I'm a millionaire.
That's a real story.
It's a real story.
Oh, it
Check
sounds
it out.
it sounds so fake. Like, and then I'm
no. Li Ka-shing. Li Ka-shing is one of the richest men in Asia. Do a search for Li Ka-shing driver. It's all there.
That's I like this story because a lot of us are at the beginning, right? We're, I remember being in college. I remember like saving 25 cents if a cheaper shampoo was available, for years and years and years. And so the reason I was able to kind of do what I wanted is because I surrounded myself with people as their server. I was working for them. I was doing something to help them. I was interviewing them for a blog or a website or whatever. And it's slowly, you learn from these people, so you don't need to be, I don't need to be your assistant CEO. I can be your driver and still learn a lot. I can be your cleaner in the building and still learn a lot. Because if your ears are open, you're going to pick up all this stuff if you're listening.
And I'll tell you a real life story. So I have a full-time driver. His name is Sarge Ali. He's been driving me for 8 years. When I met him, he was almost pretty much broke. And he was working for another company, was struggling. Now he has about 35 people working for him. And
wow.
So he said to me, John, how do I build a business if I'm a driver? I said, think about it. Like, you're a driver, all you need to do is get good at marketing, and he does airport runs. So I said, all you need to do is market for people that need to go to the airport. All the contacts come to you, you make relationships with all these different drivers, you give them the jobs, and you take a percentage. And that's what he does now. Right, sometimes you got to have the right strategy, but the strategy, and that's why I love that's why I agreed to do this, because I love that you have this distribution channel that you really want to help people, and you want to get this information to them, and you're making a huge impact.
Thank you. That's so nice. I get a compliment today. Thank you so much. I am trying, and that's my personal goal. It's the same as you. Like, you succeeded at obviously a different level, but you want to give back. Like, I was listening to a different interview he did, and you were explaining how, like, someone said, like, why are you doing all of this? You're already super rich. So why are you still doing this? And your explanation was, and I totally relate to this, like, once you succeed, not everyone around you has succeeded. All of your friends still have jobs. They can't go at 2 p.m. with you on a random vacation to Africa, So you need to bring up the people around you so that everyone is able to be at your level. And that was so relatable, because I was like, I'm here in Singapore, and I'm like, man, who do I hang out with? Everyone has jobs, and they're not free to do anything. And so can you talk a little bit about that and how you want to help people even though you already succeeded and you can be in the Bahamas?
I'll give an example. Once you make your millions, it's just zeros, right? I always want to talk about legacy, about leaving something behind. That's why I spent millions of pounds building an app so I could get this out to people so they could learn this stuff. And real life story, yesterday I was giving a talk. I didn't get paid to do that. Right? I just thought, I'm in Singapore, I'll go do a talk. And in that talk, I met a lady who did M&A. So M&A is what we call mergers and acquisitions. So what they do is they find companies to buy other companies, right? She just happened to be there. Right? I was giving a talk, I inspired her. She's like, oh my God, John, you really inspired me. I didn't know she was going to be there. But when I did the talk at the end, she came up to me and said, John, I know you just listed a company. That's a really good relationship to have now. So I was just giving, and what I find is that when you are ready to commit and totally commit selflessly, you just give, you don't expect anything in return, things just come to you, because you open up. I'm a little bit spiritual, because I believe that the universe will give you what you deserve if you make a commitment. That's why when people say to me, you're lucky, I'm not lucky. I create my luck. The harder I work, the luckier I become, the more opportunities come, and that's just the way life works.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. I'm going to ask you some questions now from Instagram. Thank you to all of you for submitting these. I chose my favorites. This question is, I'm a young person with a chronic disability. What is the best way to prepare for the future?
It depends what you want. I mean, focus is... everyone has different goals, and everyone has a different definition of success. For some people, it could be just getting healthier. Right? I mean, there are lots. I mean, that's, again, what I love about you is that you talk about a lot of the health stuff and how health is important. So if I was this person, I would do a lot of research on health. There was one of my students who came to my event. Her mum was very, and she knew a lot about health. I say, how can you know so much about? You know more than a doctor. She said, well, my mum has cancer.
Yeah.
And she basically, her mum doesn't have cancer now.
Wow.
So she was able to find out all the different things that cause cancer, holistic approaches, diet, nutrition, and things that were people eating, your environment, stress, and all. She was able to research so much. So it comes down to your why.
Yeah.
Right? Why do you want to do what you want to do? And that's your driving force to become who you need to be to get there.
So what is your why?
My why is the education system.
Education.
I wish the things I'm teaching I was taught at school.
Yeah.
I have a 1-year-old daughter now, and I'm debating whether I should